Good morning, dear professor. I am Edwin Espinosa. I am a student in the UTPL, and today I am going to explain this very important topic that is to analyze the principles of language assessment. This is the video recording one. So, first of all, I'm going to explain some of the principles of the language assessment. And after each of the principles, I'm going to explain based in one of my tests that I have applied to my students. So as I mentioned, the principles of language testing and assessment are practicality, reliability, validity, and authenticity. So these four principles was were explained by you in the master's class. So today I'm going to apply these four principles in the development of my evaluations. Okay, as you can see in the screen, I am going to analyze my diagnostic test in the level of tier bachillerato. So as you can see, I have an evaluation criteria and the indicators of the performance criteria. As you can know, this is given by the education ministry. So I have included this in my plannings and of course in my evaluation instruments. Okay, this instrument is of the year 2021, 2022. Okay, about the practicality. Practicality in assessment means that the test is easy to design, easy to administer, and easy to score. No matter how valid or reliable a test is, it has to be practical to make and to take. This means that it is economical to deliver. Economical means not only in the way of the money, and this is also in the way of save time and effort. Okay. Another aspect, the layout should be easy to follow and understand. This means that the student has to have a clear view of all the tests. Another aspect is it stays within appropriate time constraints. It is relatively easy to administer. This means that the students has to have access to this test. Don't have to be hard to get this test, okay? And it is covered evaluation procedure is specific and time efficient, okay? So, as you can see in my test, the parts of the test are well designed. This is a part that has the questions, another part that has the points that the students is going to get if he or she do the test and answer in the correct way, in the right way. Okay. Another aspect is, for example, the point. As you can see in my test, the total points are given in the left column, and at the final of the test, you can see the total and the equivalent over 10. So this is about the organization of the test. So we can continue to the next part, the next principle, the reliability. A reliability test means that it should give the same results for similar groups of students and with different people marking, okay? Keep the instructions language simple and giving examples is very important to manage. a simple language, because sometimes if we as teachers use an advanced language or some expressions that the students can't understand, this can confuse the students. And of course, if a test is well designed, a teacher give some examples that can lead the students or guide the students to find or to remember an answer. Okay. Use language that is similar to what you have used in class, as not to confuse the students. As I mentioned in the last aspect, is very important to use a good vocabulary, a simple language when you are assessing the students. This is not to confuse the students in the development of a test or a task. If possible, as a college, to do the test before you use it with the students. This is very important. As you can know, we as teachers have to do meetings before applying the test. These meetings are very important to correct some mistakes, sometimes to find some, for example, some mistakes or confusing questions that the teacher could meet. Okay. So it's very important to develop a test by the teacher or for example, by the director of the area before you apply this test to the students. For testing productive skills such as writing and speaking, have 2 markers and use understand writing criteria. Okay, as I can show you in my instrument, it was the criteria well explained, so this can help the student to find right answer. Okay, this is my example. As you can see in the screen, in this question, I asked the students to read the text and write true or false. Okay. After this, you have a reading about an anime that is a cartoon that was very common for the students, and actually continues being very common. This is about Dragon Ball. This reading has all the names and all the situations that the students are going to solve after this. So after the reading, you can find these statements. For example, the number 1, that good stories need a bad villain. And if you start to search here in the reading, this is mentioned in the reading. So I think this is clear for the student, and it's very important to explain this at the beginning of the test. Okay, you have to explain what the students have to write over the lines, over the blanks, so the students can don't have to guess. Okay. I always start this giving an explanation to my students, because some of them sometimes use only a letter, or sometimes they are confused and write, for example, in the answer in Spanish. So for me, this is a mistake. So it's very important to give some instructions at the beginning of this kind of questions. Okay. Okay, about the validity. Validity is the extent to which a test measures what it claims to measure. To make a valid test, you must be clear about what you are testing. Okay, as I mentioned in the last part. Okay, you have to be very clear with your students about what are you are going to test, okay? Because sometimes the students confuse or give another questions that you are not looking for, okay? Always test what you have taught and can reasonably expect your students to know, okay? There are some teachers that, for example, explain some topics in the class, and in the test or in the activities, they change some parts, and the students, of course, are going to be confused about this. So it's very important to test what the teachers have taught in class, okay? To test writing with a question where your students don't have enough background knowledge is unfair, okay? As I mentioned, if, for example, if you ask your students to write an essay, you have to explain the topic, and you have to explain what are you going to assess in this essay, okay? Another part, testing speaking, where they are expected to respond to a reading passage they can understand, will not be good tests of their speaking skills. Okay, this is about validity. Okay, as you can see in my question, number 6, choose one of the following questions and answer them. Okay, I think it's well explained. The student has to choose one of the 2 questions, and of course the student has to develop to write an answer. Okay, so the next part is authenticity. Okay, the next principle. And definition of authentic assessment are tests that use performance tasks that involve real-world problem solving that allows learners to demonstrate their skills by applying them to the task. Authentic assessment occurs in the learning environment, but the best way to visualize the concept is to compare it with a simple real-life application. Okay? And 5 components of authenticity assessment are real-world problems, complexity, ambiguous answers, actionable, and meaningful. Okay? This principle is very important for the teacher to apply in the assessment, because the way that the students learn are in the same way that the students, for example, learn a topic. What I mean, for example, if a student is learning about a topic like, for example, accidents, or, for example, natural disasters, okay? It's very important for a teacher to search in the web or in the news for recently natural disasters. In this way, the teacher can compare the real world problems with the situations in the class. This even convert the class in a very good environment. The students can mention what they can watch. They have watched, for example, in the media or in the social networks, and this can improve the class, because this is make the class very interesting, and the students can enjoy. For example, giving examples, and for example, if they have investigate about an earthquake or a tsunami, or they have watched, for example, about a car accident, and the students expose this in class and talk with their partners. You can, as a teacher, you have to be in this. You have to be prepared to discuss with the students about these news and topics. Okay. Okay, in my example, in this example, for example, number one, fill in the gaps with the expressions in the box. Okay, so I have used in this example two conversations between Phil and Clark and Omar and Patty. Okay, they have the options in the upper part, so they have to choose only two of the three options that I give to them. Okay, and as you can see, the topic is about, for example, in this case, is Latin American Music Awards. So this is about actuality of the popular people in the world, artists or something important for them. In the conversation B is about a tsunami, okay, close to the coast of Japan, okay, and this kind of vocabulary is related to the actuality of the real world, okay. Okay, so as you can see, here are the sources where I get the information. Okay, thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention. This is my analysis. This was my analysis about these principles of assessment. Thank you very much.